Okay, today we're going to talk about multiplying and dividing numbers that are in scientific notation. It's when the numbers are in scientific notation, it's much easier to work with them than it would be if you left them like giant or super small numbers. So we're going to be on the bottom of page 54 in your notes packet. We're going to start with number 7. I'm going to show you a method to multiply and divide these numbers that's quick and easy. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the two types of numbers. You're going to group these numbers together. So I have 6 and 9/10 times 3.5. I'm going to group them together. And then I'm going to group our powers of 10 together and multiply them. So if you take 6 and 9/10 times 3.5, you get 24 and 15/100ths. And if you're adding powers with the same base, I have a base of 10 here, you're going to add the exponents. So this becomes 10 to the 2 plus 5 power, or 10 to the 7. So I have 24 and 15/100ths times 10 to the 7. I want to point something out here. I saw a lot of you using a dot instead of the multiplication sign. This is one of the few times that I actually want you to use that multiplication sign because that really shows that it's in scientific notation. So don't use the dot here. Okay, let's go on to B. I'm going to group these together, 1 and 9/10 times 2 and 4/10. And I'm going to group the powers of 10 together. So I have 2 to the 3rd times 2 to the 6th. So 1 and 19, or 1 and 9/10 times 2 4/10 is 4 and 56/100. Now I'm going to add my power of 10. I have 10 to the 3 plus 6 power, which is 10 to the 9. All right, division is the same. I'm going to group this together. So I'm going to take 7 and 2/10 and divide it by 3 and 6/10. And then I'm going to multiply it by 10 with it, divided by 10 squared. So 7 and 2/10 divided by 3 and 6/10 is 2. And then when you are dividing powers with the same base, you're going to subtract the exponents. So that's 10 to the 5 minus 2 power, which is 10 cubed. You want to check to make sure that's in scientific notation. This will be where decimal is, 1 to the left. That's a power of 10, you're good. So this is 2 times 10 cubed. All right, let's move on to the next page. We're not going to do all of these. We're going to do just the first 2 rows here. All right. A, you're dividing. So I'm going to divide this. When I divide 2 and 3,958 10,000s by 1 and 98/100ths, you get 1 and 21/100ths. When you take 10 to the 3rd and you divide it by 10 to the 7th, you're going to subtract the exponents. So I have 10 to the 3 minus 7 power, which is 10 to the negative 4. All right, let's group the first 2 together. So I have 7 times 3.5. And then I have 10 to the 5th times 10 to the negative 3rd. So 7 times 3.5 is 2 and 45/100ths. And when we're multiplying powers with the same base, we're going to add the exponents. So this ends up being 10 squared. Okay, so let me backtrack a second. I see a mistake that I made. So this isn't 2 and 45/100ths. This is 24.5. So if you look at that and you have 24 The decimal point's right there, 24 and a half. That's not in scientific notation because there are more than 2 digits to the left. So what we need to do is we need to move that digit one more over so that I have 2 and 45 hundredths. But when we move that over, we need to compensate for the exponent. So if you move to the left, you're going to bump that exponent up 1. So this is my final answer. So you're going to want to be really careful to make sure that your decimal is in a place where there's only 1 digit to the left. Otherwise, you have to move it to adjust and then adjust your exponent accordingly. Okay, so let's divide 3 and 6/1000 by 7 and 3/10. You end up with a huge decimal. So you end up with 0.41178082219. Let's round that to the hundredths. So it'll be 0.42. And then I'm going to divide these. So it's 10 to the 8 minus 3 power. So I have 10 to the 5th power. So if you look, I don't have a digit to the left. So I got to move that decimal over one place to be 4 and 2/10. I have to adjust my exponent accordingly. When you move to the right, you are going to adjust that by bumping the exponent down. Okay, D, lots of words here. What is 3 millionths multiplied by 7/10,000? 3 millionths. So 3 millionths is 3 times 10 to the negative 6. And 7/10,000ths is 7 times 10 to the negative 4. We're going to multiply 3 times 7 together, and we're going to multiply our powers of 10 together. So 3 times 7 is 21. I'm going to add the exponents. Negative 6 plus negative 4 is 10 to the negative 10th. But if you look, we don't have the decimal with 1 digit over. It sits right here now, so we're going to have to move it over there. And we're going to have to adjust accordingly. When we bump it up, we get 2 and a 10th times 10 to the negative 9th. Bump that up. All right, E. I want to put these in the same format, so I need to change the second number to scientific notation. We're going to move that decimal over, and this is going to be 5.621 times 10 to the second. Now we're going to take 3.1. Let me erase. There we go. Times 5 and 621 thousandths. And then we're going to take 10 to the negative 3rd times 10 squared. Okay? When you multiply this, you have 17 and 43 hundredths. And then I have negative 3 plus 2. Not really in scientific notation here. We have to move that over 1 digit. Then we're going to have to bump that up. So go up 1 from negative 1, and it's 10 to the 0 power. And this is the F is the last one we're going to do. How much is 40% of 140 million? So 140 million in scientific notation is 1.4 times 10 to the 8th. And then to get 40%, you're going to multiply by 4/10. Okay, let's put 4/10 in scientific notation. We're going to move that decimal point this way. So it's 4 times 10 to the negative 1st. So now our two numbers are in the same format. Then we're going to take 1 4/10 times 4. Then we're going to multiply our powers of 10. So I'm going to go down here with the answer. Not a lot of space here. 1 4/10 times 4 is 5.6 times 10 to the 7th. Because 10 to the 8th times 10 to the negative 1st, you're going to take 8 plus negative 1, and that's 7. This is your answer. Okay, that's it.